You know San Jose, right? Sunny, tech-savvy, usually pretty chill. But beneath that gleaming surface, every city has its whispers, its dark corners, its forgotten histories. And sometimes, those histories don't stay forgotten, especially not in a place as old and storied as San Jose High. This isn't just a story I heard. This is something that happened to Sebastian, a guy I know just a few months ago, and let me tell you, it changed him. Imagine being Sebastian, a lanky, quiet kid, the kind who prefers the hum of a projector to the roar of a crowd. He's part of the AV club, which usually means lugging equipment and setting up microphones. Pretty mundane, right? But this time, it was different. The annual drama production, Phantom of the Opera, was just a week away, and the stage crew was running behind. So, Sebastian volunteered to stay late, really late, to get the specialized lighting and sound systems in the historic school auditorium just right. It was one of those crisp San Jose evenings, the kind where the air holds a hint of the mountains, even in the city, when the last of the drama club members finally trickled out, leaving Sebastian alone in the cavernous building. The silence wasn't just quiet, it was heavy. You know that feeling when you're somewhere totally empty, and every creak and groan of the building seems amplified. That was a mild beginning compared to what was to come. He started in the main auditorium, adjusting the spotlights. The grand stage, usually bustling with activity, was now a gaping maw of darkness, save for the single work light he'd flipped on. Click, whir, hiss. The sounds of the old equipment echoed. Then he heard it. A faint, almost imperceptible thump from backstage. He paused, hand on the light board. "Hello," he called out, his voice swallowed by the vast space. Nothing, just the hum of the electronics. He shrugged it off. Old school, old pipes, probably just the building settling. If you were Sebastian, all alone in that massive school after dark, what's the first thing you'd feel? A thrill or pure dread? He worked for another hour, meticulously tweaking presets. That's when the lights started to flicker. Not all of them, just the ones above the main stage. A quick check of the light board showed everything green. Confused, Sebastian walked onto the stage, peering up. As he stood center stage, a distinct chill swept through the air, raised the hairs on his arms. It wasn't just a cold draft, it felt like a presence, a breath on his neck, despite the lack of windows or open doors backstage. Then, an ancient, almost metallic grinding sound came from the fly system above, like rusty gears turning. A heavy sandbag, used for counterweights, swung slowly, as if gently pushed. But there was no one up in the catwalks. Sebastian's heart started to pick up. He tried to rationalize it. Old building, faulty wiring, something he decided he needed. A specific cable from his locker in the main hall. He grabbed his phone, its flashlight cutting a beam through the growing shadows. The school hallways, usually vibrant with student chatter, were now a labyrinth of dark lockers and vacant classrooms. Each of his footsteps echoed, too loud, too isolated. He passed the art room, the door slightly ajar. He glanced inside, and for a split second, he swore he saw a faint, almost translucent figure standing by an easel. It was gone before he could process it, leaving only a cold imprint in the air. He tried to tell himself it was just a trick of the light, the reflection of his own fear. He heard a faint whisper, calling his name. If you were him, would you have investigated or run the other way? Sebastian, being the practical type, just sped up his pace. He reached his locker, fumbling with the combination in the dim light. As he pulled out the cable, he heard it again. A faint, mournful melody, like an old music box, playing a sorrowful tune, coming from the direction of the music wing. It was slow, haunting, filled with an unbearable sadness. He knew that melody. It was from the Phantom of the Opera, the lullaby. But who would be playing it now? And why did it sound so distorted, so wrong? He decided to check it out. He cautiously walked towards the music wing, the music box melody growing clearer, more intense. He pushed open the heavy wooden door to the main band room. The room was dark, but a single spotlight was focused on the grand piano in the center, and on the bench, a sheet of music lay open to the lullaby. There was no one there. But as he stepped further into the room, the distinct impression of a body depressed the piano bench, as if someone had just stood up. The melody swelled, then abruptly cut out. Sebastian's breath hitched. He felt a profound sense of wrongness radiating from the piano. He quickly backed out of the room, his mind racing. He remembered the old legends whispered among students. The story of Leela, a drama student from the 80s who was obsessed with the annual production. She died tragically, an accident during a dress rehearsal, falling from the catwalks directly onto the stage right before opening night. They said she never left the school, especially when a play was being performed. They said she haunted the auditorium, the music room, the very stage where her life ended. Was this her? He ran back towards the auditorium, adrenaline flooding his system. He just needed to finish up, call his ride, and get out of there. He rushed onto the stage, grabbing his tools. That's when the air turned icy, colder than anything he'd ever felt, and the entire auditorium plunged into total darkness. His phone, which had been at 80%, suddenly died in his hand. "Hello," Sebastian yelled, his voice cracking. He could hear it now, clearly. Not just the music box, but a soft, desperate sobbing echoing from the back of the auditorium. And then, a whisper right beside his ear, so close he felt the phantom chill of icy breath. "You, ... forgot ... a line." He spun around, but saw nothing. The sobbing intensified, a mournful wail that filled the entire space. And then, on the stage, in the pitch black, he saw it. A faint, shimmering outline of a figure appearing directly in front of the old piano where Leela was said to often practice. It was a girl, wearing what looked like a vintage dress, her hair long and dark, silhouetted against an unseen light. Her head slowly lifted, and even in the near darkness, Sebastian could feel a pair of empty, sorrowful eyes fix on him. A spectral hand, translucent and shimmering, reached out towards him. Pure, unadulterated terror seized him. Every instinct screamed at him to run. He dropped everything, his tools, his dead phone, and bolted towards the nearest exit. He didn't care which one. He slammed into the emergency exit bar, fighting the old, heavy door. It groaned. It resisted. It felt like it was being held shut from the other side. He could hear the desperate sobbing growing louder behind him, closer. He could feel the cold, suffocating presence engulfing the stage. Just as her spectral hand seemed to brush his back, the door finally gave way with a resounding crack. Sebastian burst out into the cool night air, gasping, shaking, not daring to look back at the dark, silent building. He ran all the way home, never stopping, never once looking behind him. He hasn't been back to San Jose High after dark since. He still attends classes, but he avoids the auditorium wing like the plague. Sometimes, late at night, he says he hears a faint, distant music box melody, or catches a glimpse of a fleeting shadow in his peripheral vision, even in broad daylight. The school still stands, outwardly normal, but Sebastian knows. He knows what lies within its old walls. And sometimes, when he looks up at the historic bricks of San Jose High, he wonders if Lila is still there, patiently waiting for her next audience, for someone to truly listen to her final act. Perhaps she's still looking for someone to help her remember that forgotten line.